as a retail or e-commerce business, and what you may want to be starting to consider during this time so you can emerge from this current crisis as a stronger retail and e-commerce business. Now, this is in response to a lot of wide-ranging limitations and changes that retailers all over the country have been experiencing. Everything from social distancing through to, in some cases, moving to digital delivery and adapting to staff working from home or not at all. And in some very extreme cases, the decision to pause trading or even close. We often wrap this concept up into business continuity, but what does that mean for you? And what are some of those transformations that you could be taking advantage of now? So this could be anything for your particular business. It could mean something around the local florist, changing to digital delivery or delivery online, or even moving a shop to an e-commerce platform for the very first time. We're going to be talking about some of these broader topics and themes so that we've seen, and that way you can choose which of these you may want to apply to your own business. More importantly, it's also giving you access to some experts that you can ask some thoughts about, and your opportunity to tap into our team to give you a hand. So we're going to be keeping this webinar relatively short today, so that you can get the information you need and also ask the questions that you may have of us. We will be taking Q&A at the end of the webinar, so if you do have questions, please throw them into the question panel on the side of the GoToWebinar screen. And in the meantime, let me introduce you to today's panelists. I'm Rachel, and I'm part of MessageMedia's marketing team. And with me today, I've got Dan from the Digital Eagles, a marketing agency that specialises in e-commerce, as well as Damien Brennan, who works as part of MessageMedia's sales team. So I'll get them to join up onto the call with me today. And while we get them up on video, Damien, can you explain who MessageMedia are and what we're all about?
Yeah, thanks, Rach. So MessageMedia, we are the premium SMS provider in Australia. We are based out of, or I should say, founded in Melbourne, and have since grown to have offices in 5 different countries around the world. We are definitely the I guess, biggest and most premium within Australia, and work in a number of different industries, retail being one of them, and that's I guess where a lot of my focus is. What we really do love to do is work with retailers, e-com stores, any kind of storefront, and work with them on getting the best kind of communication out to their customers. So yeah, really keen to talk through this today.
Wonderful. And Dan, can you tell us about Digital Eagles?
Yeah, thanks, Rach. So Digital Eagles is a full-service digital marketing agency. We do everything from SEO, Google Ads, social media marketing, email marketing, content. We do websites as well. We're also experts in the e-commerce space. Here in Australia, we're Shopify experts. We're one of 5 experts for SEO and digital marketing in Australia. We're also the only Shopify expert for SEO and digital marketing in Melbourne. We're also Neato preferred partners as well, so we're the only one in New Zealand and Australia for Neato. We're also partners with Magento and partners with BigCommerce. We also look after service-based businesses as well and help them basically pivot to e-commerce. We've got offices here in Melbourne as well as Auckland in New Zealand. So we've got clients all over Australia, New Zealand, US, UK, and the world. We've got a team of 20. We really like to help businesses generate more traffic, increase their marketing, and more importantly, get either more leads or make more money as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. So what we normally talk about when we talk about retail and e-commerce is we talk about the change of what's happened over the course of years. And it's quite often we talk about it from when this 50 started through to the movement into direct marketing, the first glimpse of e-commerce and what sort of happened there, and just that steady scale of up and up to what e-commerce started to become, and through to social. And then in a couple of months, this sort of thing happened, and that pretty much fundamentally changed the paradigm for us all. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Not the past shifts and stuff that we've seen, but the transformations we're seeing at the moment, and particularly if you are new to the e-commerce space, some of the things you may want to be considering. So I'm going to move across to what we're seeing and most importantly, the panel discussion with our experts here today. So Dan, first question I'm going to pose to you is a bit of a demystification for us. You can throw a website up and that's all well and good. How do you get people to get there?
Yep, so there's a number of ways you can get traffic or people to actually find your website. So one aspect of that is that you could work on your SEO. So that is optimizing your website for what people actively are searching for, optimizing your homepage title, so more importantly, what the website's about, and collection pages and service pages. You could also be doing Google ads. So these are the paid Google ads that you see right at the very top of the Google search, and people pay per click every time that someone clicks on their website to generate traffic. You could be doing social media ads, that Facebook or Instagram or even LinkedIn, to generate wants and people to come to your website and have a look at your products or services as well. So there's a number of ways digitally that you could actually get people coming to your website as well.
Right. So one of those things that does come up, and I think it's something that we hear a lot of acronyms and phrases around the place. If you could actually break down what are the differences between direct traffic, organic traffic, referral, SEM, paid, social. Can you just break down what some of those key differences look like so that anyone could start getting what this is all about?
Yep. So if you look at your Google Analytics, if you've got Google Analytics, it's a free tool. When you open up Google Analytics, you can go into acquisition and then basically branch out what these marketing channels, what Rachel said. So direct is when people come to your website. For example, I'll take my own website, digitaleagles.com.au. People come to that because one, they've seen that website around on, like, say, email signatures. They've seen that on billboards or a personalized truck or something like that, right? And they've gone straight to it. The other way is organic search. So organic search is new people coming to the website. They're typing in digital marketing agency Melbourne or Shopify expert to Melbourne, and they're coming organically through Google for basically through to the website. Then you've got paid search. Paid search is like Google Ads, Google Shopping. So the same way as what you do for SEO, but you're actually paying for people to come there. Then you've got social. Social breaks out as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. This is like paid ads, organic social, trying to buy traffic through social media to get people to come to your site. You've got email marketing as well. Email is through there, so that's sending out email, chains, lead nurture campaigns to get people to come through. You've also got referral traffic. So referral traffic is when you have when your website is on other channels. So referrals could be Yellow Pages, it could be Zomato, it could also be other directories that mention you. For real estate, it could be realestate.com.au.
Fantastic. And getting back to the topic at hand being, say, e-commerce, what are you starting to see? And I'm going to start the question with you, Dan, and then I'll hand over to you, Damien. What are some of the big things that you're actually seeing going through, say, e-commerce and retail at the moment? You're seeing struggling, booming, pivoting? What are you seeing?
Yep. So businesses can be basically classed into three categories, right? So we've got, struggling or closed. So these businesses are, they can't actually really operate. So we've got events. So, event catering companies, that kind of stuff. We've got weddings. We've also got service businesses that can't basically operate online or remotely. We've also got them pivoting or limited by change. These are businesses like cafes, restaurants, trade services, hair salons. They need to pivot. They need to change this service offering to jump online and offer a service or a product online so people can buy. And then you've got booming. So these, basically because of the change of COVID, these are online stores, e-commerce businesses. These are essential products. So people that have essential products, like your hand sanitizers and your masks and all that, what we want, right now. You've also got supermarkets doing groceries. You've got website and digital marketing agencies that's like myself that can still operate. You've also got accountants and lawyers that can do this stuff online, through Xero, as well as, contracts and stuff like that.
Cool. Damien, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I think similar to Dan over the past probably couple of months, what we saw was a whole bunch of our customers basically throw their hands up and go, what do I do now? And that was, some were already completely online stores, but we didn't have that knowledge, I guess, of what was going to happen. But over the past kind of 2 weeks, and particularly last week, I think we've started to see businesses, and I think we can even talk for ourselves, Rach, at MessageMedia. We've started to see us settle into what we would consider the new normal. But I guess one thing that's really become quite clear to me, and both as a customer of businesses, but also a consultant into some of these businesses, is that the communication that they're now sending out has changed from, I guess, a sales and marketing led communication around, hey, come and buy our product, or hey, here's 20% off, come in store, to something that's really focused around customer happiness. And I think what they're realizing is that the cost to attract a new customer to their store is a hell of a lot higher than utilizing, I guess, the customers or the database you already have. But also, how can like the customers you pick up now, and like I'll put my hand up, I'm exposed to more brands than I've ever been exposed to at the moment, because I've got more time on my hands to sit on my phone and shop, is you're collecting these customers, so how do you keep them for the long term post kind of lockdown, and once everything opens back up?
Yeah, totally. So let's actually talk about that one then, in terms of that. What's a success story that you've actually seen around the place? On our last webinar, we heard that online seed delivery and seedlings were going out of the roof, going gangbusters. Damien, what have you seen so far?
Yeah, it's funny. You kind of stumble across these every day, and I keep finding more and more. And to be honest, a lot of my favorite stories come from kind of my local cafes or local stores that historically didn't have any kind of online presence. It was always just like you had to go to either the store or go and sit down at the cafe to get that food. Those that have kind of been forced to pivot and were able to pivot quite quickly, I think and I can tell you from the cafe, which is like a 5-minute walk away, it is booming. Like, I went there yesterday and there was a line of 20 people outside waiting for a coffee, whereas typically on a Monday that probably doesn't happen for them. And I think the other kind of success story I've seen is the ones, and I think Dan will probably talk through this, the ones that have actually increased that customer communication, and increased that marketing spend and sales spend. They're also the ones that, coming through this, have really risen as well.
Right. Dan, tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's a pretty crazy time at the moment. So we're seeing a lot of our small businesses coming to us. So these are businesses that would be spending, that would be generating per month anywhere between $500 to $20,000 a month. And so what they're saying is, they're like, how do we get ahead? So all these basically big stores or big retailers have closed down. Your Myers and your Dave Jones and the real big, basically what we call big boys or big competitors in the market. How do we get ahead? And a lot of them is that they've really focused on their SEO. So they're really focused on the organic traffic, being found for the right keywords, optimizing their site quite quickly. With the change of a lot of businesses not being able to do Facebook ads, for example, hand sanitizers and that kind of industry, you can't do Facebook ads. Facebook basically stopped it. And because Facebook works quite closely with Google, the only way to do it is SEO or Google ads. So that actually gets people to come on to do Google ads and pay money to get Google. And what we've seen businesses halt on their paid social and their paid Google ads and spend more money on SEO. And with that, we've seen businesses go from making $1,000 per month to making 10, 15, 20 grand per month. And it's all coming from the SEO. So for example, there's a couple of success stories I came across recently. So there's a business based in Sydney. They're like an online plus size bra retailer called Curvy. And because what's happened is Myer and bras and things have basically dropped, or like they can't be open. They've tripled their basically sales, because all their big competitors can't operate because their stock is based in China or offshore. And they can work really well because they've got, you know, Australian markets and they've got Australian basically distributors. So they're thriving right now. We're seeing also a lot of service-based businesses start online, create an e-com website, for example, Shopify, Neto, or WooCom, and they're basically getting their products online. So, you know, for example, like tutoring. Tutoring companies are offering online tutoring, not just one-to-one consultations, and they're holding a webinar with like 50, you know, 20, 30 people, and they're doing it all in one go. And they're doing this a lot quicker, so they'll be able to send their message out to communicate a lot more, and they're actually generating more cash for themselves, all working from their, you know, from their nice, warm, you know, comfy home.
Great way for local business to really get a kickstart, huh? It's actually quite nice. What's the most surprising e-commerce trend that you've seen over the last couple of months? Like, what's the one that you just kind of went, didn't actually expect that one to be coming out there?
I guess for me, I was one, and I went out to a shopping center on the weekend, and I really noticed it there. But it's how much stores have diversified their product range to include masks and sanitizers. Like, there was, I don't know how many stores I walked into, let's say 20 stores. Some were like, you know, a games shop, some were you know, clothing shops, and I think every one of them had sanitizer like hand sanitizer for sale. So I think like that ability for a store to be able to just go, actually, you know what, this is a really hot trend right now, let's jump on it. And not even that, even the manufacturers of it. So it was a couple of weeks ago now, but Carlton United Breweries changed to making hand sanitizer as well, because they're like, hey, we know alcohol, so you know, alcohol's mainly around, well, for them was obviously always beer, but that's the main ingredient in sanitizer. So it's like, hey, we can actually do this as well. And I think a future trend we'll see, and it was off a conversation us three were having yesterday, was the amount of people that are using video conferencing tools has definitely increased. And I think that we'll actually start to see some kind of like advertising marketplace through those kind of in the future.
Yeah, good call. Dan, how about you?
For me would be near me versus online search queries. So basically they've totally switched since February. What that means, near me, is like, for example, Italian restaurant near me, plumber near me, cafe near me, right? Online searches are like buy groceries online, or plumbing supplies online. So online and buy basically have literally doubled what they were normally. So basically the shift has gone like this for online, and then near me's gone down. If you're a bricks and mortar store and you also have basically a physical store but you can operate online, you basically get the double whammy. The double whammy is you can do near me and online search queries. So you can optimize your Google Maps for people to come in and go near me, coffee delivery near me. You can appear, and then you can provide them an online service as well. And the benefits of this is when we get out of the COVID situation, your near me is going to increase pretty rapidly as well. So it's a big interesting thing. We're seeing a lot of you know, plumbers and tradies saying, well, I can actually get this product from my suppliers, so I'm going to create a little online store and I'm going to sell these products to people so they can DIY their stuff. So now they're coming up against Bunnings. So they're actually making a little bit more cash while also being able to provide a service to their customers.
Yeah, fantastic. And so I guess here's the next one. What are you hearing from your clients, particularly retailers and e-commerce players at the moment? What are the things you're hearing from them? What are the questions they're asking us? Dan, I'll start with you.
Yeah, sweet. So basically COVID has triggered sales for online retailers. What we've seen, 40% higher than the usual Christmas peak period. So some people are having their best months to date because of COVID. We're seeing businesses, that I said, going from making $1,000 a month to making 15, 20 grand a month. We're seeing customers that are doing a little bit bigger than that. They're doing, you know, they're $20,000, $25,000 per month. Normally, they're doing 100K, easy. And they're not even blinking an eye. They're just really busy packing orders. We're also seeing that Australia Post put a report up, and they said that online sales for fashion retailers is up 99% on last year. So if you're in fashion, if you've got a product that people want, basically people really want to buy. What we've noticed also, some of the big retailers, so some of our clients that are really big retailers, they're struggling because their factories and their stock is sitting in overseas factories such as China, and they're not local. So they've got factories all over China, America, UK, Singapore, and they can't access that stock because the whole factory is basically in shutdown. They have to use what they've got here, and then they literally have to basically, then take on pre-orders. So this is how the smaller retailers and smaller e-commerce players are merging, and they're also taking market share off the big players in the game.
Right, Damien?
Yeah, pretty much an echo of what Dan said. I think the people that, or the stores that have been able to, or already had an online presence, or have been able to set up an online presence quite quickly, and really adjust to this digital shopping world, have done really well. The other piece is that, and similar to what Dan was saying, was the ones that have been able to focus their marketing efforts onto the areas that are counting at the moment, and not just pull all their marketing spend away because they go, hey, we don't know what's going on, but starting to put that into things like SEO, things like win-back campaigns. They're booming. They're finding new customers. They're selling to their existing customers. They're doing really well.
Yeah. And if a bricks and mortar store was to come to you now, Dan, what would you be recommending to them?
So the first thing basically is, can you sell your products or services online? Do people actually, will people buy it? If the answer is yes, then ideally we need to set up basically a nice, easy website. We recommend Shopify. One, it's the easiest basically website to be able to set up. So most of the people that are in Australia have set up online that we get have set up a Shopify website themselves. Basically, it's nice and easy to maintain. You can integrate with basically anything. Afterpay loves it. Zip loves it. You can have point of sale. So if you actually are a bricks and mortar store and you actually have this, then you can do it. One example was that we recently got a franchisee from Toy World coming to us, and they have this big warehouse, and they have a physical location, and they wanted to sell online. So we helped them to basically get a Shopify website up and running. So then they can integrate their point of sale system and they can sell online. What's happened is that they've basically found all these new customers that don't have the time or can't come into the actual store, but they're searching online, they're buying a product. And now what's happening is they're sending orders left, right, all over Australia, where they're actually based in Southeast Melbourne. So they thought that their target market was, 20, 30K, where now their target market is people in Perth, people in, Brisbane, or, in regional, Victoria as well. So, and then basically what we need to do from that is the marketing efforts. So the best marketing efforts would be SEO, to create an online presence, Google Maps, get people actively coming to your website based on what you're selling, as well as Facebook to increase the traffic and revenue. So you can put an ad out there saying, hey guys, we're in business, we can now stock all over Australia. For that, we're going to give 10% off, or whatever the deal is, to get people to come to your website as well.
Fantastic. How about you, Damien? What would you be recommending to them?
Yeah, for me, there's two recommendations. Number one is get online. Like, no matter who your target market is, they are now forced online, and they'll be shopping online. The other thing they've got now is more time than ever to compare, and it's easier than ever to compare your products against your competitors' products. So giving them that quite easy, this is how you need to purchase from us, that really ease of use for your website is going to be super important. The other one that I think is really important, and a lot of customers I'm speaking to are saying, when they're looking at where their traffic is coming from, it's over half is coming from a mobile device. So understanding that your customers are sitting there, not necessarily on a laptop like they would have been if they were, in the office, but they're now sitting on the couch and they're shopping on their mobile phones. So don't just think e-commerce, but make sure that whatever or however you're setting up your store is also optimized for mobile, and also consider that when you're doing your thinking about your marketing spend, making sure that like Facebook advertising, if you're doing Facebook advertising, make sure it is it's going to make sense when it's on a mobile screen. Think about how often people look at email on their mobile versus things like SMS.
Nomophobia, the fear of being without your mobile phone. It is a real thing. It was diagnosed in a psychological journal a couple of years ago. Now, finally, what are the strategies that you guys are recommending for businesses to merge stronger after this? So some are proving to be strong right now. How do they merge to be even stronger again? Dan, I'm going to start with you.
Yep, no worries. As Damien said before, mobile first. You need to market to mobile first. So a lot of our clients, we're looking at 60–70% of their traffic and their basically purchases coming from a mobile device. We're seeing people buy on a website, so add to cart on a website, but they don't actually, they come back and actually then get retargeted to on Facebook, and then they actually buy through mobile. So optimizing your mobile for speed and also for usability. So looking at your conversion rate on mobile, looking at conversion rate on desktop as well as tablet, and making it more aimed at mobile, because that's basically, most people now just have a mobile phone. They shop all the time, on public transport when we could, as well as sitting at home, on the couch as well. So another big important thing that we're saying is that claim your free Google business listing. There's a number of businesses I always look at, and it comes up and it says suggest an edit, or it says own this business. When it says own this business, so if you Google your name and you come up, it'll be on the right hand side. Go and claim it. It's free. Set up an email address, or basically link it to your email. You can optimize that for near me and online and buy searches as well. So we also wanting to generate as many Google reviews as possible. Did you guys know that 97% of all customers consult a review before getting in touch with the business or purchasing online? They look at that star rating. The quick thing is that if you have 4 out of 5 stars on your Google My Business, it will increase your SEO by 10%. If you have 3.9 or below or 0, it'll bring it down by 10%. So easy, go get your mates, mum, dad, brother, sister, a couple of clients to give you a 5-star review. Then you get one, boom, 10% up. Happy days. You also want to optimize your titles on your website. So these are like your service pages or your collection pages. Tell Google what you do, what you service, or what you sell. It 100% makes a lot more sense than having your homepage title as home, or, for example, Digital Eagles. We want to say Digital Eagles Marketing Agency in Melbourne. Google knows you're based in Melbourne, you're targeting the rest of the country, and this is what you sell, or this is what you do. 100%, you need to have an SSL website on your a certificate on your website. It's a secure certificate that basically you see a padlock. It's either black on mobile or green, basically on a desktop, and that means you can actually get in touch with the business, fill out a contact form, give them a call, or even buy online. You should not, and I mean you should not purchase anything online if it comes up as not secure or there's no certificate. So basically a hacker can take your details. We don't want that at all. Also, you need to make sure that your social media pages are all accurate. The right titles, the logos, information, the content, the images, and that you're actively posting. If you aren't posting, people don't know what you're doing. People may think you've gone bust or you've gone away, you moved businesses. And what people do is they look at your social medias before they get in touch with you as well. And they want to see what you're actually posting about. They want to see, are you actually posting about the services that you're promoting? Or are you just saying you're going to, that's what you do? And finally, my last basically strategy is send out email marketing or SMS marketing campaigns to communicate to your customers. Let them know you're open for business. If you're a cafe and basically you only do online delivery, say guys, hey, we do coffee delivery for up to 30 kilometers, and get people to basically either call up or send them an SMS to be able to get them to be able to place their order. It's very important if you've got new products or services, as well as opening hours as well. So that would be my my top strategies for any business.
Right, Damien.
Yeah, pretty similar. I think my first one would always go back to data and understand your customers. Dan touched on it before, but understand where your online traffic comes from Is it through Facebook? Is it through Instagram? Is it SEO? Is it your Google ads? Is it referrals from other websites? And then that should really lead what you're doing from a marketing perspective. Then from there, also understand what device your visitors are coming from. Is it on desktop? Is it on tablet? Is it on mobile? Again, it just helps you design ads. It helps you think about like what size screen things are going to be seen on. You know, is it people that are sitting on their phone on YouTube looking up something that then, you know, they get the ad for your activewear and they click on that and they go through to your website? Like that, this is really the data that you need to know. Once you actually can get them onto your website, make sure you capture their details. It costs three times as much. I think, you know, recent studies say 3 times as much to win a new customer than work with an existing customer. So capture their details, because that not only helps you with that initial sale and to provide great customer service afterwards, but then, you know, customer journeys have really turned into a customer cycle, and making sure that post sale you can re-engage with them to bring them back into store because they've loved your product, they know that it's high quality. So how do they come back in store to buy something else?
Yeah.
And that's really, I guess, for me the key strategies. And I don't think, you know, much will change with it.
No, probably not. And so we're just going to hand over to some quick questions before we wrap up today. One question that has come through, and I might throw this one to you, Damien, and then over to you, Dan. We've been talking a bit about SMS marketing and email marketing, which requires knowing who you are talking to. How do you best go and collect that information from a customer if you don't already have it, particularly if you've never been a list generating company in the past?
Yeah, cool. It's something we get asked about a fair bit. I guess email marketing for companies is, you know, they've been doing it for a long time, and a lot of people understand email marketing, whereas SMS marketing for retail is reasonably new, and I guess it's not something that happens a hell of a lot. It's the simplest way to do it is ask the question. Ask the question, and you know, one thing that works really well is to give a great offer with it. So if I'm going onto a website, you know, I need a new pair of runners, for example, I'm going on and I see something that says, hey, you know, give us your email address and your phone number and we'll give you 15% off. 15% off on a, you know, $200, $300 pair of runners is huge. Like that's actually really good value for me. That would be number one. The other one is to set up a text-in competition, and we've seen this work fantastic before for, you know, not only retail but a whole other group of industries, where you're actually running a competition, get people to text in, you know, their name and, you know, an answer to a question, and they go in the chance to win, you know, to win a prize. But because they've texted in, you basically get access to their phone number and their name that you've requested, and you can start building your database out that way. Of course, with any of it, make sure you are ACMA compliant with, you know, or spam compliant, I should say. And, you know, if you need discussions around that, obviously us at MessageMedia are more than happy to assist there.
Yeah. Dan, what do you recommend from an e-commerce point of view?
You pretty much hit the nail on the head, Damien. The only thing that I would say is that you run lead campaigns, so you can target new actively campaigns on Facebook. So these might be people, let's say, for example, we take people for runners, right? So you're going to target people that are actively, you know, that love the gym, they love outdoor activities, whether that's, you know, running or hiking or golf or whatever that niche is, you know, in the area whatever that running shoe that you're trying to, you know, sell. And then you want to lead in campaign. So you want to either do like an ebook or a white paper or something, or a promo, or showing them download this for these details. So you want to collect the name, their email, their phone number, and you want to give them back something in between, you know, for like, you know, a white paper or ebook, or you can give them like 15% off, or sign up for our VIP basically club, and then you'll get 10% off, you'll get a birthday, then you'll get something for Christmas, you'll get a bit of everything, and people sign up these free basically packages, and then you literally collect their details. Then you can send out an SMS to them and say, hey guys, we've got a bit of a campaign on the moment, it's only for VIP members, basically this is the offer. And what people do is people just send through those VIP basically offers to a number of their friends, but then we need them to come in and basically opt into putting their details, so you can basically send it out. But as Damien said, you just got to make sure that you are compliant. I always say that make sure that you've got in your terms of service or terms of conditions on your website that you say is that when people do enter and put their details into your website, that these may be used for marketing from time to time. But you just need to make sure is when you do send out an SMS or an email, they have the ability to opt out. So they can basically unsubscribe to that or text to stop. So you are compliant. But it's a great way to build a list.
Yeah. Always make sure that you ascribe to the legislation within your local jurisdiction, because we may have people that aren't always from Australia on the line with us today. So look, at this point, we are up for time. There's going to be 2 points that I just wanted to leave you guys with. One, that we have put together a COVID-specific resource hub for MessageMedia, which is available to both customers and non-customers, which you can access at support.messagemedia.com. And while you're there, you can see the COVID category where there is checklists linked to support documentation, but more importantly, some templates so you can get going and started yourself, particularly of some of the topics we discussed today. The other one is knowing that there are few people on the line who are from cafes. We have also got some hospitality help packages available from MessageMedia. Jump onto the website and just navigate through to the blogs to see some of the hospitality offers, because we do know that that's an industry that is suffering at the moment. So that's all we've got time for today. Many thanks, Damien. Many thanks, Dan, for joining us up on the line today. We'll be sending through a recording of this webinar in the